Have you ever come across one of the strangest, most mysterious verses in the Bible? A verse so puzzling that it feels like you've stepped behind a curtain into a hidden world. One that speaks of giants so imposing, so fearsome, that ordinary people felt like insects in their presence. What if I told you that within the Bible is the story of the Nephilim, beings who may not have been entirely human, a shadowy story reaching back to the days before the flood of Noah? Why does Scripture only give us fragments about them? Who exactly were they? Fallen angels crossing boundaries? Children of heaven mingling with earth? Or just ancient legends? The most important question, why would God allow such creatures to walk among His creation? By the end of this journey, you'll see that the story of the Nephilim isn't just about physical giants. It's about something far deeper: pride, rebellion, corruption, and the eternal conflict between good and evil. But before we dive deeper, if you love exploring hidden history, mysterious Bible passages, and the overlooked details of Scripture, you're in the right place. Welcome to Biblical Echoes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our deep dives. The first glimpse of the Nephilim. The Bible often comforts us with encouraging words, verses about hope, peace, and salvation. But sometimes Scripture drops a passage so mysterious, so unsettling, that it feels like we've peeked into something beyond human understanding. Genesis 6 is one of those chapters. It begins with a simple scene. Mankind is multiplying, families growing, the earth filling with sons and daughters. Civilization is sprouting as God commanded. But then, suddenly the tone shifts. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and took them as wives. And right after that, almost whispered, as if tucked away like a hidden storm, appears this line. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. No explanation, no details, just a haunting name, the Nephilim, mighty men of old, legends of renown. Then the text moves on, as if we were already supposed to know what the Nephilim are. That silence is what makes this so haunting. Because when the Bible gives you just enough to make you wonder, but not nearly enough to satisfy, you know you've stumbled across something deeper. Questions that demand answers. So, who were they? Were these sons of God actually angels stepping out of heaven's boundaries? Or were they earthly rulers, claiming divine authority and abusing their power? And the daughters of men, were they innocent or willing? Victims or partners in something unnatural? Notice what happens right after. God announces that His Spirit will not contend with man forever. Soon afterward, the text describes that every thought of the human heart was only evil continually. Violence filled the earth. And then, the great flood. Do you see the connection? The existence of the Nephilim seems like a final signal of corruption. A boundary had been crossed, and creation was spinning into chaos. Some explain them as simply giants, warriors so well known that their reputation lived on. Others, however, from ancient Jewish writings like the Book of Enoch to early Christian teachers, believed the Nephilim were literally the children of angels who descended to earth. If that's true, these beings weren't fully human. They were hybrids caught between heaven and earth, a distortion of what God originally created. And that raises a chilling question. Why would God allow this rebellion? Was it to show us how far corruption could go? Or perhaps to reveal that the battle between good and evil has never been only human? It's cosmic. The mystery of afterward. The text in Genesis says, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. That single word, afterward, is like a mystery box. After what? After the flood? But wasn't the flood supposed to remove corruption, cleanse the world, and leave only Noah's family? And yet, centuries later, when Israel's spies stepped into the land of Canaan, they said with fear in their voices, "We saw the Nephilim there. We felt like grasshoppers compared to them." So how did the Nephilim appear again? There are only a few possible explanations. Some argue what happened before the flood happened again, fallen beings crossing forbidden lines. Others believe remnants of their bloodline somehow survived through Noah's descendants. Or perhaps the Israelites simply used the old name Nephilim as a label for any towering, fearsome warriors. Regardless of the explanation, One truth is clear. Giants stood in the way of Israel. The Anakim, the Rephaim, the Emim, tribes described as mighty and tall. Their presence was enough to terrify Israel into disobedience. And that's the deeper story here. The giants were real, yes, but they also became symbols of fear. The reality of fear. Think what fear did to Israel. Men who had seen the Red Sea part, manna fall from heaven, still quaked at the thought of giants. Instead of remembering God, they only remembered the Nephilim. Instead of faith, they chose fear. That's exactly what fear does to us today. Fear exaggerates obstacles. Fear makes problems larger than life. Fear convinces us we're grasshoppers, facing something unbeatable. But here's the biblical pattern. The giants in Canaan fell when Joshua trusted God. Goliath fell to David when all of Israel cowered. Time and time again, when God's people stood in faith, giants fell. The Nephilim, in that sense, are more than history. They're symbols of the gigantic problems in our lives. Doubts, addictions, sins, fears that look impossible. But the message is the same. Giants fall when God fights. Interpretations of the Nephilim throughout history, scholars have debated three main views of who the sons of God and Nephilim really were. Heavenly beings, angels who rebelled. Ancient Jewish tradition in the Book of Enoch describe rebellious angels, often called watchers, who descended to earth, took human wives, and produced giant offspring. These mighty ones filled the earth with violence. In this view, Genesis isn't just a human story, it's cosmic rebellion. Human rulers and tyrants. Another view is that the sons of God were powerful kings, claiming divine titles. Much like Egyptian pharaohs who called themselves divine sons, these rulers abused authority, taking women for themselves. Their offspring became mighty men, giants of reputation and tyranny, not physical size. Symbolic of corruption. A more symbolic interpretation is that sons of God means the godly descendants of Seth, and daughters of men refers to the corrupt line of Cain. When these lines mingled, faith was swallowed up, and the result was complete moral decay. Giants, in this view, symbolize overwhelming violence and arrogance. Maybe all three views carry some truth. Whether hybrids, tyrants, or symbols, the lesson remains. Humanity had crossed a line. The meaning for us today. So why is this story in Scripture at all? Why not leave giants and fallen angels in the shadows? Because the Bible isn't obsessed with the size of Goliath's spear or the height of the Anakim. The real point is what giants represent. They embody fear, rebellion, corruption, and pride that makes humanity forget its creator. And yet, just as God preserved Noah in a world of corruption, just as David faced Goliath, just as Joshua's people entered Canaan, the story reminds us God's power is always greater. Whatever giant you face, fear, addiction, doubt, despair, it may look legendary, it may seem unbeatable, but like the Nephilim, it will fall. Conclusion. The story of the Nephilim remains one of Scripture's greatest puzzles. Were they the hybrid offspring of angels and humans? The children of tyrant kings? A symbol of compromise? Perhaps the Bible leaves it ambiguous on purpose, but their legacy is clear. Giants rise. Fear whispers. And yet, God shows his people that no giant, no matter how tall or terrifying, has the last word. So the next time you face your own giant, remember, the Nephilim fell. Goliath fell. Every obstacle can fall in the presence of the living God.